acting experiments, a move without a plan, and a shocking heartbreak at the age of 5. Here's a look at Kate Beckinsale's life through love, loss, and social media. Kate Beckinsale has known a thing or two about celebrities for most of her life. Both her parents were television actors in the UK. Her mother, Judy Lowe, has been acting in British television since before Beckinsale was born, and her father, Richard Beckinsale, was one of the biggest British sitcom stars of the 1970s. Richard starred in the BBC sitcom Porridge while simultaneously acting in the comedy series Rising Damp on rival network ITV. With both parents on television, it will come as no surprise that Beckinsale's first showbiz payday was as a baby, appearing alongside her mother. By the late 70s, Richard's career was red hot, but tragedy struck when he died from a heart attack in 1979 at the age of 31. His death shocked Britain, and for 5-year-old Kate, it would reverberate throughout her life. On the off-camera show, Beckinsale likened his shocking death to that of John Lennon, with people openly weeping in the streets.
He was universally sort of beloved. You know, it was instantly not just our tragedy, it was not just our story.
Because Richard's shows were so popular, reruns aired throughout Kate's life, helping her feel close to him. Beckinsale told the New York Times in 2001, "My father has been dead for 22 years, and he's still on TV all the time. I'm so used to seeing him. Whenever there's a really significant moment in my life, he's on the TV." Kate Beckinsale has both brains and beauty, and she even cultivated her genius-level intellect at one of the most prestigious universities in the world. From an early age, Beckinsale's smarts were evident. Her IQ was tested at a young age, and on The Howard Stern Show, Beckinsale's mother, Judy Lowe, revealed it was 152, putting Beckinsale firmly well beyond the genius threshold. Beckinsale put her intelligence to work by attending Oxford University, where she studied French and Russian literature. Beckinsale left Oxford before graduation, in part due to the death of a friend. She's joked that her high intellect and intense studies haven't exactly helped her advance in Hollywood, and thinks it held back her acting career.
It's no good to me, though. It's really not helpful in my career. I just think it's might have been a handicap, actually.
She even joked to the New York Times, "I dropped out of Oxford, and now I only speak Russian with the woman who gives me a bikini wax. See what Hollywood does to you?" However, Beckinsale doesn't think it's too late to finish her degree. While touring Oxford with her daughter, she realized that she could go back at any time, and when asked by the Daily Mail if she would return to her studies, she said yes. In the 90s, Kate Beckinsale was an acting star on the rise, but that doesn't mean getting roles was easy for her. She scored a starring role in 1995's Cold Comfort Farm, but she had to fight for it. Based on the 1930s novel of the same name, the movie follows modern Londoner Flora while she stays with distant relatives at Cold Comfort Farm. Director John Schlesinger thought Beckinsale was too young to play the urban sophisticate, as she was still in her early 20s, but that didn't deter her from pursuing the part. She told the Sunday Times that she wrote to Schlesinger, asking him to reconsider her for the part. Not only that, she tracked down his address and delivered the letter herself. She said, "Luckily he wasn't offended that I found out where he lived, and poked it in the door of his flat." Her tenacity paid off. Beckinsale ended up getting the part, and it was apparently a positive experience. She revealed to The Guardian that Schlesinger is among her favorite directors she's worked with. Although her impressive acting resume includes some major cinematic blockbusters like Pearl Harbor and the Underworld series, being a Hollywood star was never in Kate Beckinsale's plans. In the 90s, her acting career was firmly rooted in the UK, starring in TV movies like Emma and films like Shooting Fish. But by the end of the decade, Beckinsale was spending more time in the United States. She moved to New York City when her then-boyfriend, Michael Sheen, was performing on Broadway. She acknowledged to the Mirror, "The move was sort of against my wishes because I had just had a baby and was like, do I want to move to New York? I don't know anyone really. You're going to be by yourself with a baby." Despite any initial reservations, Beckinsale kept working, and she soon found herself in American films like The Last Days of Disco and Broke Down Palace. She said to the BBC, "It wasn't a conscious decision to make American films. It just kind of happened. My auditions happened to be for American movies, which wasn't deliberate." Her casual attitude toward life informed her career, telling Reuters, "I'm sure that's the big mistake I've made, not having some big campaign or plan. But I like the way my life and my career influence and inform each other. It's like an adventure to see what comes up next." Kate Beckinsale has made a name for herself as a kick-butt actor, starring as latex-clad vampire assassin Selene in the Underworld film series, as well as landing roles in action movies like Van Helsing and Total Recall. However, her notoriety in the genre wasn't exactly in her life plans. Beckinsale didn't grow up athletic, and she didn't have an aptitude for gym class. She only started working out in her 20s when filming Pearl Harbor, and she took the role of Celine in the first Underworld movie to break out of being typecast as a delicate British actor. Beckinsale told People, "I was not sporty. I had no aspirations of being an action person, and I did it as an experiment to see if I could do it." It turned out that training for Underworld was a great experience for Beckinsale. She shared with the BBC, "I found it immensely liberating. I'd never fired a gun. I'd never punched anybody. The fact that I managed to do it at all felt like such a big achievement." Even though Beckinsale is thoroughly an action star now, she confessed to the Sunday Times, "I'm glad I've been trained in it and I can do it, because I've been forced to do it so many times. It never ever was something I envisaged myself doing though. It's all a bit ludicrous that that's become one of the things in my quiver." While Kate Beckinsale has appeared in a few comedy films like Click, Love and Friendship, and Fool's Paradise, her resume is pretty short on humorous projects. While she hasn't flexed her funny bone much professionally, she happens to have big comedic aspirations. Beckinsale has always loved comedy, but she shied away from it early in her career because of the towering reputation of her late father, comedic actor Richard Beckinsale. She told the Sunday Times, "My most favorite thing is comedy. In the very beginning of my career, I was a bit nervous because I didn't want to look like I was trying to come into my dad's patch and all that." In her decades-long career, Beckinsale's star persona has held many identities. She's been known as a refined British actor, dramatic indie film darling, and an action hero. But Beckinsale's performances haven't allowed her to garner a reputation for laughs. She's ready for her comedy close-up, but Beckinsale is realistic about possible cultural challenges in being perceived as being both beautiful and funny. She sardonically quipped to the Sunday Times, "Maybe once I start getting older and uglier, with bandy legs and arthritis, I might be in with a chance." Kate Beckinsale had high-profile long-term relationships with actor Michael Sheen and director Len Wiseman, but her casual romances with younger men have put Beckinsale's love life squarely in the public eye. In 2017, the then 43-year-old was linked to 21-year-old comedian Matt Rife. At the time, a source told People of their over 20-year age difference. "She really seems to like him. She refers to him as an old soul. The age difference doesn't matter to her." Beckinsale and Rife dated for a year, but their on-again, off-again romance wasn't meant to be. In 2018, Beckinsale was spotted smooching then 30-year-old Jack Whitehall on a candlelit date, and the following year, she dated Pete Davidson, who is 20 years her junior. Beckinsale and Davidson's romance quickly became tabloid fodder.
Apparently, people have a crazy fascination with our age difference, but it doesn't really bother us.
Although not specifically naming Davidson, Beckinsale alluded to their relationship in an interview with the Los Angeles Times, saying, "I'm surprised by the interest. I've never been in this position before, never dated anybody who comes with their own bag of mischief. It's all quite shocking and something to get used to." Beckinsale and Davidson's tryst only lasted a few months, and after they broke up, a source shared with Entertainment Tonight that they remained on friendly terms. After Davidson, Beckinsale continued to date younger men. She and then 23-year-old Canadian rapper Goody Grace were together throughout most of 2020, becoming COVID-19 pandemic lockdown companions, before going their separate ways by the end of that year. Kate Beckinsale seems like a natural on social media, with millions of followers on her Instagram account watching her zany, eclectic posts about everything from red carpet appearances, posing with cute animals, and dressing up in costumes with friends. One might think that Beckinsale readily embraced being extremely online. But she only joined Instagram at the insistence of others. At first, Beckinsale was reluctant to join social media, but she agreed to hop on the social media bandwagon to promote her 2016 independent movie, Love and Friendship. Intimate and humorous, Beckinsale said her social media presence is who she really is. She told the Los Angeles Times, "It's actually accurate. I found it incredibly relieving to go, oh, this is what my actual sensibility is like. And whether people respond positively or negatively to that, that is what it is. And that's been a largely positive experience." Although Beckinsale tries to focus on the good aspects of social media, it doesn't mean she hasn't had a complicated relationship with it. In 2019, she deleted all the photos from her Instagram account. At the time, it was speculated that she wiped her account clean because of negative feedback about her then relationship with comedian Pete Davidson. However, her account didn't remain empty for long. She started posting a week after the deletion. There is no doubt that Kate Beckinsale is an animal lover and makes a concerted effort to have creatures of all kinds in her life. She confided to the Sunday Times that while filming her television drama series The Widow in Africa, she made a concerted effort to meet as many animals as possible.
Do you want your tummy tickled? Why do dogs like that so much?
When she's not filming in locales that offer abundant wildlife encounters, she keeps the animal vibes going at home with her beloved pets. Even though Beckinsale has owned both cats and dogs, she has a special soft spot for felines. Her preference for cats is fairly pragmatic, telling people, "Cats are easier than dogs. You don't have to walk around with a bag of poo like you do with a dog, which I hate to walk around with a bag of poo." Based on Beckinsale's Instagram, she clearly had a special bond with her Persian cat Clive. With his scowled face and floofy hair, Beckinsale and Clive seemingly did everything together. Whether it was dressing in the latest fashions, hanging out in the pool, or grabbing a bite to eat, they became social media darlings. Sadly, as seen in an Instagram post by the actor, Clive died in June 2023, leaving Beckinsale heartbroken and bereft. But while Clive has crossed the Rainbow Bridge, Beckinsale still posts photos of herself snuggling with animals, both great and small.